regardless of what ends up happening in the Jonathan Kuminga free agency saga, Golden State Warriors trade rumors are inevitable. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen either way, whether Jonathan Kuminga accepts the qualifying offer or decides to come to terms with Golden State on a new deal that pays him around $20-ish million next season on today's show. Before we do, though, I have a goal. I think it's always good in life to set goals out, and even in your work, you should be doing that as well. My goal is to get to 98,000 subscribers by Warriors training camp, which is about 3 weeks away. Can we put a dent in this number right now? We need 262 diehard members of Dub Nation to hit that subscribe button for free, informative, entertaining Warriors content every single day. Turn those noties on as well so you never miss a moment here at Warriors Today. All right, according to multiple reports, we know Kuminga prefers to accept the qualifying offer of $7.9 million. And after all this turmoil of his rotation and these trade rumors, the ones he's being held out of, and the Warriors not wanting to lose Jonathan Kuminga for no value, well, that looks like they're staring that in the face at this point, and he could accept the qualifying offer of $7.9 million and then be on a no trade clause for next season and enter unrestricted free agency in 2026, thus ending his Warriors career with nothing coming back to Golden State in return. Now, if this were to happen, the Warriors will be in a rough spot. Like financially, roster construction-wise, they're going to be in a pretty tough spot. Not only does the no trade clause get carried on with the qualifying offer getting signed by Kuminga, but there's some other aspects you have to think about as well. With the Warriors not being able to trade Jonathan Kuminga, you lose your biggest trade asset at the trade deadline. You were kind of banking on you having a $22 million trade chunk to throw at another team to get an asset back in February, but that's not going to be the case anymore, and you can't even actually get the $8 million that Jonathan Kuminga is getting in a trade one-for-one because, one, no team's going to want to trade for a player they're not going to have the bird rights on for next summer's free agency. And two, the Warriors aren't going to trade Jonathan Kuminga, who's making $8 million, because he's a much better than $8 million a year player. So he will be on the Warriors all the way until the end of next season if this qualifying offer ends up getting accepted, which will leave the Warriors kind of with their hands tied behind their back as far as making a trade goes. Now, the fallback in this scenario for the Warriors, they have a little bit of a fail-safe kind of option here. If Kuminga does accept the qualifying offer, the next kind of route that they need to go down to improve this roster even more, because that needs to happen. I don't think this Warriors roster is at championship level just yet, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on that front. They need to look at another trade, and the only way to do that, if they don't want to give away any of the big money players on their roster, which doesn't seem very likely at this point, is to use an $8.8 million trade exception that they have created in the Jimmy Butler trade, trading away Kyle Anderson there, who ended up, I believe, with the Miami Heat. Now, as far as players that fall under that bucket, there are not many. I know, it's crazy, right? There's not a lot of NBA players out there that make less than $8.8 million that are making big-time impacts, and especially a big-time impact that would be on a Golden State Warriors team. But Haywood Highsmith is a guy who I think can absolutely do it. A real 3-and-D player here, 6'5", so absolutely fits that mold of an undersized Warriors player. More of a shooting guard, small forward type of mold here, but he can defend point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, even some of the taller ball-handling power forwards in this league. I've watched this guy lock up Jason Tatum before on multiple possessions, so he's no slouch on the defensive end at all. And he's absolutely improved as an offensive player over the last couple of years, man, averaging 6 points a game, and that's not a crazy volume or anything like that, but the three-point efficiency has been there, 38.2 three-point percentage last season, 39.6, almost a 40% shooter in 2023, 2024, and that was when the Heat were kind of firing on more cylinders here. And to be honest with you, like the Miami Heat are not the most glamorous offensive unit in the NBA. If you were to come over to a spot like Golden State, I only imagine he's going to see way more wide open looks from three-point range on the wing and in the corner, kind of his hot zones on the basketball court. So I think this could be a mutually beneficial partnership between Haywood Highsmith and Golden State, who probably needs another defender in that backcourt. The issue for Golden State, though, is I don't really know if they have the assets available to make an Haywood Highsmith trade. And what I mean by that is Haywood Highsmith just went for like some sort of like pick swap. It was basically a salary dump by the Miami Heat into Brooklyn's books. And for the Golden State Warriors to kind of make a trade that it makes sense for Brooklyn here, there would have to probably be some picks going out. And the Warriors only have 2 second-round picks available to trade. So it would probably be pretty tough, and Golden State probably doesn't want to send away a player a player in this deal to Brooklyn. Brooklyn probably doesn't want a player back in exchange for Haywood Highsmith. So a deal for him probably feels pretty unlikely, but the value is there, and Golden State has the opportunity to do it if they can make something happen assets-wise to send back to Brooklyn. Now, a player that makes around that type of money that would command a little bit more back in a trade, and he provides a little bit more on the basketball court, Ayo Dosunmu over in Chicago, man. This guy provides starter-level production for half of the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Makes $7.5 million this upcoming season, is due up for an extension after 25-26, but at 25 years old, I mean, this could be a guy that you want around long-term, man. He's a really, really good defender at both sides. He's 6'5", just like Haywood Highsmith, obviously a good bit younger as well. 12 points a game last year, 12 points a game the year before. Like, this guy's been the definition of consistency on a Bulls team that's been pretty consistently mediocre over the last 10 years or so, to be honest with you guys. The three-point shooting is a little bit inconsistent with him. He shot it at a 40% clip in 2023, 2024. And this is another player who I think would just kind of only see his efficiencies increase playing alongside Steph Curry, playing alongside Jimmy Butler, guys who make other guys' jobs in the basketball court a whole heck of a lot easier. If Ayo Dosunmu is doing this in Chicago, where they're losing a bunch of basketball games, could you only imagine what he would do on the Golden State Warriors? Look, I would trade an unprotected first-round pick. I'm talking a 2027 first-round unprotected for Ayo right now. And I think Bulls Report host Patrick Seaman, he would agree with me on that front. I like Ayo Dosunmu a lot. He provides a ton for you on both sides of the floor, much more so than Haywood Highsmith does, especially on the offensive end. So he would probably cost a first-round draft pick in this scenario, and probably a player as well. But if you could fit him into that, if you fit him into the trade exception and only have to send away a first-round pick, I'm doing it, no questions asked. You guys decide. Given what you would have to give up for each one of these two players, basically, the question is, would you give up a first-round pick for Ayo Dosunmu? Because easily the answer should be AD down in the comment section if you're picking one to trade for. But we know that Haywood Highsmith would not go for nearly as much in a trade. So if you're worried about keeping the assets and you want to trade for Haywood Highsmith, type HH. If you're looking for the better player overall and taking a big swing of the bat, give me an AD down in the comment section. Next, we're going to go over the Warriors trade rumor scenarios. If Golden State and JK were able to end up coming to terms on some sort of agreement that would pay him around $21 to $23 million this upcoming year. We'll tell you who they would trade for in just a moment, but first, get hooked up with this awesome deal. This link right here, chatsports.com/dubcity, chatsports.com/dubcity to get dripped out. And this awesome City Edition long sleeve from Nike today. The Warriors are going to drop some new City Edition colorways in the next couple of months, so these are going to be flying off the shelves very, very soon. Get yours today, chatsports.com/dubcity. It's for a discount, $35. That's chatsports.com/dubcity. It's in the comment section and description of today's video to go click on as well. All right, now we're talking. If somehow, some way, whether it be Kuminga actually bluffing this whole scenario and just accepting the Golden State Warriors offer, or maybe Golden State amends their offer a little bit, guarantees a little bit more money in the second year of the deal, maybe makes it a player option of some kind, which eliminates the no-trade clause, and then Kuminga accepts to that. That's where we actually get wild and could actually make a big-time addition to this Warriors roster. And let's just kick it off and start with a guy who I think is going to be an all-star in this league, and that's Trey Murphy, man. I love Trey Murphy. Can handle the rock, can shoot the rock, can absolutely punish people at the rim. An underrated athlete. I mean, 6'8". You'd think he's a 3-4 in this league. This guy plays like a 2-guard, and he's only gotten better over the last couple of years. Like, this guy was, kind of an afterthought after his first season. We're like, oh, yeah, there's flashes there, but, is he ever going to have the huge role that an all-star level player demands? Well, he absolutely got that this past year. And you could see, as he was a 40% and a 38% three-point shooter each of the previous two seasons, the volume went up, the efficiency went a little bit down, but he was still knocking down jumpers from the outside. This is the type of floor spacer that you need in Golden State. And who knows, maybe the asking price isn't as large when you consider that he's missed a good chunk of each of the last two seasons. Missed 25 games in 23-24 and over almost 30 games last season. So maybe the asking price is a little bit lower. I doubt it, though. He's a 25-year-old descending player, and he's way better than Jonathan Kuminga, in my opinion. And then the reason why is the reporting asking price for him is multiple first-round picks and a quote-unquote proven young talent. Golden State didn't have that type of price tag. They tried, and nobody bit whatsoever. Teams will be calling with these type of packages for Trey Murphy, and if the Pelicans have any sort of interest in trading for Jonathan Kuminga, get them on the phone right now. All right, Jarrett Allen. We've talked about him way back. Like, we've talked about this guy a long time ago on the channel, and he's a player who, for the Warriors' sake, they're not going to have Al Horford for the long run. Well, Jarrett Allen is 29 years old or 27 years old, and he can make a big time impact for the long term for Golden State. He makes around in that $25 million a year range, which can be traded for Kuminga if a new deal were to be reached. And this guy's a walking 15 and 10 every single night. Going to have incredible efficiencies as a lob threat. Going to be able to defend shots at the rim. I love Jarrett Allen's game, and this guy's been an all-star in the past. Like, he's absolutely no slouch, and sooner or later, the books are going to catch up to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're going to have to make a move off a guy like Jarrett Allen. Maybe they go in the direction of a guy like Kuminga, who might be a little bit more of a shorter-term deal for them. Look, both Allen and Trey Murphy would cost Kuminga and probably multiple first-round picks. But in the case of the Warriors, shoring up that front court with a guy like Jarrett Allen would make them exponentially a higher ceiling team in the Western Conference. Getting a guy like Trey Murphy raises your ceiling to potentially a NBA championship contender. He is that good. I think he could be the third best player on a championship winning team right now. And there's no real debate about that, in my opinion. So if you add one of these two guys in exchange for Jonathan Kuminga, if a deal were to be reached, this team is so much better. You guys think it's going to be night and day if one of the two of them were able to come to the Bay Area. What do you guys think? Are there any Jonathan Kuminga stands in my comment section right now? If you are, give me a JK down below. Who's the best player here? Jonathan Kuminga, Trey Murphy, or Jarrett Allen? Type some initials down for me in the comment section. What do you guys think? As that will do it for today's edition of the show. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV, for the most consistent Jonathan Kuminga updates on YouTube all offseason long. It could be happening very, very soon, so we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.